So smooth. I love it.
Hey, welcome to our Set the Pace United States. We have one for Brazil as well. I'm Pamela Tanimura, and this podcast, which is also a live on a few different platforms, including YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So if you are streaming on Instagram, if you are one of our guests, you can hit go live from your Instagram. So we do this every Monday, almost every Monday. I would say like most Mondays. Some Mondays sometimes um we don't, but we always bring. We make sure that we're here, present with all of you. Okay, so today we have our dear Dr. Carla here. Yay,
Hello,
welcome.
everybody.
So when we're gonna talk, I asked Carla to be here today to share with us about the melatonin connection and to be able to make the connection also to spring cleaning, which is also connected to winter. And that's where we are right now. Even though we live in Hawaii, we have wonderful weather here all year long. But the spring cleaning time is coming in April. So about a month. We're still in February, but we're still like we're educating so we can get ready for the month of April. Okay. So we also have Christina, Susanna, Marcus, and DJ. We're all in Hawaii except for Christina. She is in San Francisco. Okay. So, well, let's get started. I made the connection with the melatonin topic for the reason that we heard. So back when we started working together, this is through the pandemic, right, Carla?
Yeah.
And Carla is the founder, and she's a psychologist educator at Globally Brighter, which is her foundation. It's actually called Foundation Matters.
Yeah.
And there's Globally Brighter, and there is this school called Learn, which is a holistic school here in Honolulu. And my children went to it, and we started talking, and I was a little bit shocked about hearing that kids were taking melatonin, like little kids.
Yes.
Right?
Unfortunately. It's true.
Okay, so then that was a little alarming, and that is the reason why I was like, hey, we need to bring awareness around this. And so I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit more. Why not, and what can we do to not have to do the synthetic?
All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. How are you all? Did you all have a good night's sleep?
We
That's
tried.
important. Yes, right. Yeah, so for me, it's really important to really educate parents about why our kids are not sleeping well. So has become an issue, unfortunately, because lack of sleep can affect the learning style of the child. It can really have some symptoms that could be confused with ADHD, for instance, right? Because if you don't sleep well, you're not able to focus, you're not able to do the exercise, you're not able to memorize things, right? There's a lot going on when it comes to lack of sleep. And it became kind of a norm to provide melatonin to kids, especially during the COVID time. There was, and I don't remember specifically the person. I don't know if Pam knows how much percent of the kids were taking melatonin during COVID. And unfortunately, when you start giving this, it's very hard for parents just not to give anymore, right? It's just becoming a habit to give it. It's melatonin is sold as something that is natural and it's okay to give to your child. It doesn't need any you don't need to go to the doctor. You just go to Costco or you go to any Longs, anything, and buy it, right? It's just you can have access to it very easily. And we take for granted all the side effects because we think there is no side effects at all. And unfortunately, those are synthetic things that affect our body. So understand why our children are not sleeping well. It's, I think, the most important thing, right? So why your kids are not sleeping well? Why my kids are having issues sleeping? And I think the biggest reason it's lack of sunlight. And that's why we correlate winter issues with sleep issues, with depression. There's a lot of things that we correlate with winter and lack of sunlight. And even though here in Hawaii we have sunlight a lot most of the time, people don't go out. For you to benefit from the sunlight, it's you need to be out. And also don't, even sometimes people are out but they cover themselves with hats and gloves and long sleeves and sun protection, so you're still not getting the benefits of the sunlight. um, because we take for granted the importance of vitamin D, which is actually not a vitamin, it's actually a hormone. If we're going to go into depth what is vitamin D, it's a hormone that is very well need for the productions of melatonin, right? So if you don't have that hormone, so the production of melatonin, it actually starts since the very first moment till you wake up. So your body kind of prepare your brain to release melatonin later on at night. During all the day, when you exercise, when you expose yourself to sunlight, and then when you go back to sleep, you have all the melatonin inside your brain to get released to the your bloodstream, right? So it's a process. So when you skip that process and you just give a medication that is synthetic and you expect that it's natural, your body to just think, oh, nothing's going to happen. This is really a big mistake because the melatonin really affects even the learning of your child, the memorization of your child, how your child is going to be focusing. It really depends on the melatonin production. It depends on the vitamin D you're going to be incorporating throughout the day. And another thing that is extremely important for melatonin production that we also take for granted, we don't need light anymore at night. So for the melatonin to be released by your brain, it needs total darkness, right? Which is the opposite. So we, provide light during the day. At night, our brain's like, okay, shut down. And when I say total darkness, even the TV, if you have a TV in your bedroom, that red light on your TV can affect melatonin, not production anymore, but the release of melatonin during the night. Or so your cell phone that is beeping, the light comes on and off. Any tiny light in your room can affect the release of melatonin during the night. So it's a very complex yet simple, because if we provide the lights to your brain during the right time and just shut down everything at night, it's, you're going to see it really increases the production.
That is amazing. So it is simple, and yet it's not simple, right? And that's what I say. Like, we know what we need to do, right? We need to eat healthy, sleep at least like 7 to 8 hours. We need to drink a lot of water. We need to exercise, get moving, get sun. We know those things. Like, I think it's, most people know, but then life gets in the way, right? Life happens. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And for us, a lot of us that work together, we all work together here in health and wellness, and we do focus on specifically bringing more ideas, tips, and tricks for people to bring this health and wellness into their lives in a very easy way. We do it because we just consistently did something over and over and over again. So sleep is nothing different from any other habit, really, right? So if we are talking like about some easy things to do, just like Carla mentioned, we can get sunlight, awesome, right? 15 minutes, not a whole lot. Don't need to have a whole bunch of it, but just a little. Um, Another thing is cut back on caffeine, but then there are benefits to caffeine that are very specific if you don't abuse it, right? Just like
Correct.
anything else.
Yeah.
So there are studies that goes both ways, and reduce screen time at
Hmm.
nighttime and manage your stress. So we have a few different sleep hygiene practices that we all use. And Carla and I have an event tomorrow
Yes.
at Gather Hawaii. We're here at Studio Sounds Better Studio inside Gather Hawaii here in Hawaii Kai, and we are going to have a educational but also a sensorial experience for people to learn how to implement these easy steps into their lives. So if you want to learn a little bit more in depth and really feel these things working, you can come tomorrow. I think we're at capacity. It's full
Yeah.
already.
Almost. Yeah. We have
We but
one.
we can
Maybe
squeeze two
we
more.
can squeeze.
We put at 12 just in case, and we are doing in a conference room. So it will be an experience. So you can come and deepen a little bit more of this practice with us. Another thing too is magnesium, right?
Yes.
Magnesium is huge in sleep, and we've talked about this before here. It's called recharge, and it's part of our system. It's a metabolic system that's called metapower, and part of the system is hydration, and hydration is extremely important. So we
Yeah.
have four types of magnesium, and she's also nutritionist psychologist, which is awesome, right? The N in learn of her school is for nutrition,
Nutrition.
and so that is a huge part of what she does. I am on the board of the school. That's why I'm super passionate about this too. And I think we must start with the children, right? Christina put it here. Parents know sleep is important for kids and themselves, but they don't know how to achieve it naturally. That's a comment on there that I highlighted. So we want to be able to really bring the attention also to the little ones. We're talking about
Yeah.
adults, yes, but we're talking about early childhood education. So if they see you do it, they're going to do it. If you start implementing with them, they're going to take these habits for the rest of their lives. And they are the future adults, right? They're going to
Yeah.
be running this place once we're not here anymore. So, and another thing that I love about this whole talk with sleep and the pineal gland that is absolutely connected to sleep because
Yeah.
that's what produces melatonin, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a yoga teacher. Susanna is also a yoga teacher. She's been doing it, studying it for over 30 years. I've been in it for about 15 now. And so we have enough time to understand the benefits of the practice. That's another thing that can absolutely help you. So, Sue, do you want to talk a little bit about the third eye chakra, right? I know chakra sounds so esoteric for some people, but hey, it's just right here in between your eyebrows, okay? DJ is
Yeah.
like, yes. It sounds a little esoteric. But it's just a place in your body, and it just has Sanskrit names because yoga comes from India. Okay. So, but it's basically between your eyebrows, there's a point, and that point connects directly to your pineal gland. And that is the gland that is responsible for producing melatonin. And when you do your yoga practice, it helps stimulate it, helps calm it down. So Susanna can share a little bit more about that third eye chakra and what we did yesterday that is all
Oh,
connected to the talk today.
yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching us and for being here with us. It's an honor to be with Carlita, my friend Carla, Dr. Carla, Christina, DJ, and my bestie, Pam, my hubby, Marcus. Yes. Well, yoga is just not movement of the body, right? It's actually awareness of your breath and awareness of what you're thinking and everything. So yesterday we had an event and we are focusing on really relaxing because we all have our crazy lives and we just want to take the time to relax, to let it go. And we did a movement, of course, with the body. We did some flow, some vinyasa, and after that we did some floor. So we went to the floor with also yoga asanas and awareness with the breath. And then from after that, we did the meditation. So people think that it's super hard. Some people think that it's super hard to meditate, and some people think it's super easy to meditate. And some people think that yoga is really easy, and some people think that yoga is really hard. It's actually a science and a practice that, like every other practice, every other workout that you do, every other muscle that you have to move, you have to practice. So when you in meditation is the same thing. So when you work on like relaxing and slowing down your thinking and your observing your thinking, and also slowing down your breath and just trying to be with yourself. Before our event, we had a gathering for meditation and for chanting, and we as Buddhists we like to chant. We like to chant for not ourselves but for the world, for peace in the world, and it start with on ourselves. So relating with that, meditation and chanting and practicing and thinking, setting your mind and your pace to be in peace with yourself and to be more slowing down, and you can have a better quality life, a quality of thinking and of expressing yourself and of making good choices when you're in a peace of mind. That's what yoga does. And like Pam mentioned, we have chakras, energy points, translating to energy points in our bodies. We have one which is a third eye, and third eye is what is intuition. Is really you feeling and making the choice with your heart and your mind connected. When we meditate, when we choose to have the practice 15 minutes a day, or if you chant, whatever you, or if you pray, whatever you wanted to do, you need to have that slow time. Maybe when you woke up, which is a great time, it's very quiet. You just, your mind not thinking of anything. You just waking up and sitting down and having the quiet moments. Maybe doing your morning routine um, before you coffee before everything you do, and connecting with the third eye, connecting with that intuition, connecting with your heart, and then start your day. So meditation is really important for your sleeping too. If you're too excited before bed, like Carla mentioned, your room has a lot of activities, or your mind has a lot of activities. Maybe no, maybe you want to have a good night of sleep. Maybe just shut it down. Take the time to do your meditation before you're sleeping. We have a practice here in the house. Marcus is very addicted to that. He can talk about it. We are a yoga nidra practitioners in the middle of the day. As you know, some Latin, some Spanish people, they have their siesta in the middle of the day, right? So it's kind of like that, but we're very aware. So we lay down in our beds and we just turn off everything. We put our eyes shut in our our eyes. We close our eyes. He has his own earpod. I have my own, and we also doing kind of meditation, like a yoga nidra for 15 minutes in the middle of the day, like 1 o'clock after lunch or right
One
before
five, right? 1:15, not 50.
15.
Okay, I wish I had 50 minutes to just do that.
50 minutes. I mean, you can talk about it because he loves it. He cannot, do the second part of the day without doing the 15 minutes of his nidra. And it is amazing. And it is a way of kind of like, okay, let's reset. Let's shut down. 15 minutes. It feels like 2 hours nap, but it's only 15 minutes. And then we can go to the second part of the day. And then at night, 70 hours of sleep again, because you are working with your system, with your body, and what's going on. The mind is very active, especially us, all of us, everybody, most of us has so much to think, so much to do. So it's really important to shut down. And then, I want to pass the torch to Marcus so he can talk a little bit more about yoga nidra and how it affects him and how important. Oh, and also we're gonna go to the products later. And I cannot live without Serenity and we're gonna talk about Serenity capsules in a minute, I think. And what I want Marcus to share his experience with his middle day yoga nidra.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Hi, everyone. Good to see you again. Pamela, doctor, I went to the PSI workshop just a couple weeks ago. And it was funny because I had to get up really early in the morning before I checked in at 9 a.m. I had to go somewhere. So I was like around 1 o'clock, the body was already feeling. So I was like asking for it, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So I didn't care. I just lied down right on the hallway and I did my meter right there.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people there, and then so essentially, like she said, it's a great way to reset and get ready for the second half of the day. And we do so much, and nowadays, I mean, I've been doing it for so long that the body really asks for it, and I didn't care. I mean, it was asking for it. I just lie down on the carpet. I put my earpiece, and I just brought it to myself, to my breath, to everything. And then when I got up, I was like, whoa, like brand new again. And it's easy to say that, like like I'm lying, but it's not. It's I mean, I got so good at it that it
You can
is
do
a great way
anywhere.
to reset and get ready for the second half of the day.
It's kind of like the power nap, but
Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
have something
Oh,
guiding you. So you are working with binaural beats, and we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. You get to experience that tomorrow in our session together. And then it comes, it sounds esoteric for people that uh, aren't haven't seen it, haven't done it. Tibetan bowl sound healing. It's like, whoa, this is like way out there, right? For a lot of people, but it's not. It's a practice that is quite simple. We just have somebody doing the sound healing for you, and yet it's kind of the same thing that I just put there. It is a practice that's always you're laying down and you enter this state of almost like you feel like you're sleeping, but you're not, right? So, and then sometimes when you hear some of the beats of the sounds and the vibration of some of the bowls, I can see when I'm doing the the sound healing for people, I see limbs lifting up and they don't know that this is happening. Okay, this is how powerful this type of practices are. And I call them high performance practices because this is all about you being able to perform higher.
Mhm.
So this there's a myriad of different practices, right, that we can add to this. And so simple things, you can absolutely go on YouTube and look for yoga nidra 15 minutes. You can go and find a sound healing practice for 20 minutes. And you can do it in person. I think like everything else, if you're able to do it together and you feel it live, you have a complete different experience, right? And going back to that third eye chakra talk is also connected to your intuition. So if all of a sudden, right, you're doing your yoga meditation, you're doing your high performance practices, whatever it may be. Like DJ and I and Susanna went to a cold plunge on Saturday and ice bath, right? So that is also a high performance type of practice that makes you go into meditation, but in a different way. So the intuition. So you start seeing, sometimes you think about somebody and they call you, or they send you a message right when you're speaking their name, or you're going to say something at the same time, or we show up in the same place, right? So this is all part of us being connected through something that we can't see and a lot of science can't explain, but you can feel it, right? You don't have to explain a lot of these times. If you feel it, you feel it. That's it. There's no way to undo that because you're feeling it. So coming back to that connection of your intuition and you taking charge and making the decisions for yourself, I think that's something that is absolutely powerful, and you can doubt that power, right? So I want to ask DJ about a little bit about this. So DJ has been to the cold plunge, and was that a little bit of a kind of a meditation type of practice too? How did you feel?
Yeah, when it comes to cold plunge, I've done it before, and for me, it's always meditation because it's a lot like getting a tattoo. Like a lot of times when you're sitting there, I like to over imagine how bad it's going to be because I've realized a lot of times when you go into something that might be either painful or jarring, that's going to require you to really focus and zone in. It's better to think that it's going to be worse than it is, right? Then your body can deal with it. So for me, if I'm lying in there in the cold plunge, and I was in there with my wife, and she has her own thoughts going on, and for me, I just think to myself, okay, wherever the pain is at, and this might be kind of dark, I apologize, but I always think to myself, okay, you know what? let's just imagine that the water is just scraping off all my skin from my toes all the way to my neck, right? And if I imagine it being that bad, I think to myself, I'm like, well, it doesn't quite feel like that, so I guess it's fine. And then my mind just calms down. And the same way when I get tattoos. Every time I get a tattoo, I always imagine, someone has a knife and they're just scraping off all the skin. You think to yourself, you're like, it's probably not that bad. And then you just relax, right? You end up being calm. So it's kind of a weird way to put it, but it definitely is very meditative. I agree with that 100%.
When we talk about third eye chakra, right? He came to my yoga class the other day. Also happy to see you in there. What does that sound like?
Well, so what's interesting about that too is you were saying third eye chakra in terms of like, is it more of like meditation in terms of how would you describe it better for yoga? Because I think we might be thinking something different, or we might be thinking something the same.
All of this, I always ask DJ because sometimes I can be completely out there in the spiritual world, which I really love, and I don't need to bring this up all the time, which I don't. I actually do these practices for myself. And I have my other little witches that walk alongside me, like they're right here, right now, right? Susanna, Christina, Carla. And we can do these practices. But when it comes to you, I know that we talk like a lot of the practical A to B type of like the masculine, feminine that we talked about in last week. And when it comes to this more of the energetic side, it sounds a little woo-woo, You're like,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So we can be completely raw. But that's why I ask you, because it's like, so what do you hear when we say, the third eye chakra is connected to the pineal gland? And that's something that I've always noticed is that people that are more objective, they're A to B, let's get this done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you talk about trainers, like you have a goal in mind, you're task oriented.
Right.
So anything that's too fluffy, you're like, oh man, this no pineal gland science, right? Body anatomy.
Okay.
So then that makes more sense. So I've noticed through the years that I've been doing this, I have to bring some science to back this stuff.
Okay.
And that's where Carla comes in, which is so cool, right? Because she holds peer-reviewed studies, and that's what she does. So that is the beauty of it. When I bring something that sounds esoteric and it's just a name, I even put a comment on here. It's just the Sanskrit name of something, right? That we use, but it basically means pineal gland, because the anja or anya is the name of this point, and it's just a Sanskrit name for the pineal gland. The pineal gland is connected
and
to.
That's a real thing, of course. Yeah.
It's a real thing. So for my spiritual friends out there, I love you because I'm one of you. Use parts of the body to explain this stuff, right? Because then it makes it more real, right? It makes it more palpable. You're like, okay, cool. That's more accessible. Now I can grasp. Instead of I'm like, hey, DJ, let's do a meditation to open your third eye chakra.
Yeah. So can you guys hear me okay? Is the volume okay?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So I'll say this. Once again, I think that men and women have different ways of organizing the world and different ways of interacting with it. Everything you're saying can be 100% true, and I believe you 100%, but that's not what my mind goes to, right? So say, for example, if you were to say that maybe the pineal gland allows you for greater insight to do X, Y, Z, my brain just thinks I have ideas to do X, Y, Z. So it might actually line up, but my brain doesn't intuitively go toward energy or how the energy is making me feel. Like say, for example, I know that there's a chakra in your stomach that's supposed to drive toward like maybe active behavior or to get you going, right? More of like a power center, right? And that could be 100% true. Or it could be the fact that I just tell myself I need to get up, I need to start moving, right? So, but neither or is good or bad, as much as my brain just doesn't naturally go toward that. But I think everything you're saying could be 100% true, yeah. But my brain, I don't see the world intuitively in that respect.
Yeah.
It's more of just, I think of it as task orientation, like you said. If I get up in the morning, my goal is to do this, then this, then this, then this. Now, if my body's going through different cycles of chakras to make it happen, that could be 100% true. All I know, though, is I'm doing this, 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 this.
Yeah. I mean, it's very complex. The brain is very complex. And to understand that, I mean, once we realize that we are not, there's so many different bugs or things inside our bodies that communicate, they're constantly communicating with us. And the pineal gland provides so much information, and it's so much related to depression, to insomnia, to all ADHD, autism. There's a lot of things that the dysfunction of the pineal gland really, you know, makes us not be ourselves, right? And how can we enhance our pineal gland? And it's not just one thing. So I really want you guys to understand that it's a very complex also thing. It's not just taking melatonin is going to solve the problem, right? It's a lot of this really taking care of yourself. So one of the things about the nonprofit that Pam and I, she's on the board, is self-care is really the best healthcare. So it's taking care of yourself, listening to yourself, why you're not sleeping, why you're struggling, just understanding that there is this 15 minutes that you can rest during the afternoon. There is a lot of research on that empowers your brain. Our brain needs, so when you are resting or meditating or sleeping, your brain is functioning 100%. It's working, it's detoxing, it's memorizing, it's giving you energy, providing you back. That's why Marcus said after 15 minutes, he was full of energy. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's very complex. And especially when you're providing melatonin to younger kids, that concerns me a lot, because their brains are starting to get developed, and we're already giving something just to
shut it down.
Shut it down, yeah.
That's what happens.
Yes, and just to work the way, just to provide this energy, and it's a problem. It's something that we have to take it very seriously. And I do take it very seriously. And that's why Pam and I and our group we educate people, right? And let's ask questions. And even though I love research, I don't have all the answers, because I'm constantly doing research, and Pam knows about that.
Right? I know it's an inside joke. Every time she goes, "Oh, I need to go learn about that," I'm like, "Stop learning, please."
Yeah,
for God's sake.
Constantly
she has
learning.
like 10,000 PhDs, and it's amazing, right? So I'm like, now it's not time to put into practice. We need to put this into practice.
And we are putting.
And
tomorrow is one of the days.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, and I'm super
I
excited.
have a question for Dr. Carla regarding sleep and how we can help our kids, right? So a lot of kids feel like they need the light on at night to be able to sleep well, or like for a sense of comfort, right? But as you mentioned, that's a sort of disturbance in the sleeping program. So how can we help our kids in that sense of feeling comfort and having like a light on, but at the same time getting sleep? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is my personal experience right now. My little one needs to sleep with me at night, and that's fine. It is what it is, and I will guide her until she's ready to be alone. But she needs a light on. So what I prefer to do is put on our crystal. I have a salt lamp which illuminates. So I put it on as low as it can go. But for me, I'm waking up all night long. I can tell she's a little bit sleep disturbed as well, some nights more than others. And I think that's obviously a different brain situation going on, emotions, etc. But how can we help our kids who do need like a light on at night, but also get them a good night's sleep? Do you have any insights for us?
That's an excellent question that many parents ask me. So, there are a lot of things related to fear, when, all those imagination that comes into our kids' mindset. What I usually recommend, and sometimes it does work, most of the times it does work, we leave the light on just very little. However, we put the masks. And we buy those cute unicorns or Spider-Mans, whatever type of masks. And sometimes I put on I don't like to wear masks at night. However, kids feel so like, oh, and so we go shopping and we buy cute masks, and they feel like wearing the masks, So it's and sometimes I put a drop of essential oils on the mask or on the pillow as well. So it helps them. And sometimes at night I turn it off. because if the kids are sleeping with me, it disturbs me because I'm so sensitive to light because I'm just used to it. So I just turn off, and then they will not notice at all, right? So that's one tip that I usually recommend parents, and kids really like it. So maybe you can try that one and let me know if it works.
And
That that's great.
back
Thank you.
and back to this, Christina, maybe do some child's pose with the kids before you go to bed. And the reason why I asked DJ that is when we say child's pose, we do balasana and we do the prasarita padonasa, is for you to bring. So here it comes. Like, what does that mean? It means that you bring more blood into your brain and your pineal gland. And
Yeah.
with that said, when you bring more blood into your brain, it brings more oxygen, it brings more nutrients, right? That's and I'm going to put a comment here. Why do we need to do that? Because your brain, like your head, weighs about 3 pounds, and I say that in class. It's about 3 pounds of weight that you're going down, right?
Yeah,
But it uses
yeah.
20% of
Yeah.
our oxygen. So, and that is why if you just do simple things, just put your head under your heart, under your hips, if can. Child's pose is a great way of doing that. So then it's just translating it to physiologically what's going on, and it's hard for sometimes even for myself. Like I've forced myself to learn the more scientific part of everything
Yeah.
because I intuitively I flow with the spiritual stuff. Like I can just talk that lingo all day long, right? And I forced myself to learn the scientific part because, hey, I work with it too.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to bring this awareness to more people, right? So another thing that we love, and I have TJ testing it for me and also his sweet wife, Gentry. We love you guys, Sue and Marcus. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Oh,
you.
hey guys.
So Susanna doesn't sleep without the Serenity caps.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have this amazing system called sleep system. And again, life happens, right? Even if you try your hardest to
Right.
do all the practices that we just talked about, life happens, but it's just balasana. You go in child's pose, 2 minutes, right? Sometimes it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
it has to be a habit. So until you build that habit, you need tools. So then it comes all the tools that I have at hand. And this is a direct response to some of the real pandemics that we have in the world, right? And sleeping pills or muscle relaxants or anything that's highly addictive.
Yeah.
These are the plagues of society today. And the way that we do things at night plays how we do things in the morning.
Yep.
And it plays the ways that we do things in the morning, plays how you do it at night. It's just a vicious cycle. So pineal gland is connected to your circadian rhythm as well. And so the sleep hygiene that we talk about at nighttime, if all of that doesn't happen, which can all help, then you have tools. Take a couple caps. These soft gels are incredible. I have people that have taken it over and over. Christina is holding it up. That's the
Stick.
We
Serenity
have
stick.
it here.
Yes, the kids don't go to bed without it, right? So they just roll it on themselves. Gentry now is a big fan, right, DJ?
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, women are connected to the smells and the
Yeah,
feeling,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, women naturally have a better sense of smell than
Oh
men.
yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yeah,
The
thank
brain.
God.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It's all perfect. But then DJ's like, yeah, give me the stuff, I'll take it. And then Gentry will smell it, right?
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
So, and it works. We have a chance, like whoever's going to be with us tomorrow in our workshop has a chance to really feel a lot of the things that we're talking about. We have practices that we'll be doing that I don't do anywhere else because like the yoga studio, we teach a class, we have a time that we have to be in and out. Our events, because of the size of events, sometimes we don't have enough to do for everybody. So logistically it wouldn't work. But because we have a small intimate group, and that's on purpose, it's only 12 people. We can do 14, but 12 is like the ideal number for our
Yeah.
events, is because we can do a bit more focused in each person, and then they can replicate that at home. And one of the things we use too is the Serenity Blend.
Yeah.
And I know people that, two of them, that wouldn't get in airplanes. And when they had to because of work, that's what they used,
Yeah, it's amazing.
right?
Yeah.
What, how are you using it in your house? Because you started that, that was one of the first ones.
Yeah, I mean, my like my youngest, she loves the stick, the one that Christine was just showing. She just loves it so much. She says she put it on, and then she says, "Oh, I'm already sleeping, mommy." It's amazing because of the smell. However, when you travel, and especially when you cross the equator, there is something that happens energetically to your brain, and that's, we don't have to go into that. However, taking those capsules can really help you with jet lag, and for you to go and make your life more comfortably and not having those jet lag for 1, 2, 3. Very, very important to have when you're with the, for you to get used to the new time zone that you have. And you can put the stick, you can put the essential oils as well, which I love it. Just when you're on an airplane, and I think it helps a lot
On the pillow
on
too.
the pillow of the
Yes.
airplane.
And
Yeah.
Christina, Fran, our sweet friend Fran, hopefully soon Fran will be here with us too. Fran is also a yoga instructor. She's the one that encouraged me to go to my first yoga training in Thailand, and I hope she'll be able to make it. I think she teaches class at this time. But the I am yoga she gifted to Addie for her birthday a few years ago, and she loves that
So
book.
she loved it because my kids love it. I will sit there reading at night, like this is the bedtime book. They go and pick it. They're like, "Here, mom, this is what we want to read," especially my little one. And then I'll read it, and every single page she does the pose. And
Wow.
so I just love it. It's so beautiful how it teaches them the pose and the verbiage of it. It's like it starts out when I feel small in a world so large, and then it guides them through different things they can do when they're feeling certain things in their body. And I think it's so powerful to teach anybody, honestly. It can be an adult book too. Um, to use these beautiful poses and really help ourselves through these emotions and things that we feel throughout the day, because it's so normal, right? But it's not so
Yeah, and
normal to
yoga
know
is a
how to.
science. Yeah,
Yes.
it's the science of,
So,
like, these movements are all
yeah.
for you to again flow and get the
And like you
body
said,
to
we
do what
don't
it's
have to
supposed to do.
understand what the science is, but it works, right? So if we just do the poses, it works. And it's so awesome to see like the calmness that will come over them when they do the child's pose or savasana or whatever it needs to be. Like it's really cool to see. I love empowering the kids like that and other people. Like it's great.
I love it. And I added here the some of you are familiar with using these amazing plants. They are gifts of the earth, and that's what our company's name is. That's what it means in Latin. And any of these will help at nighttime. There's also wild orange that people think it's only for energy, right? Because citrus will give you energy, and it um, makes your body produce more serotonin. But these oils right here are great for nighttime. This is the blend that's called Serenity. That's what we have as the sleep system. And if you have that, start using that. You maybe drop a drop on your pillow. Maybe just do a big deep breath. Breath work before bed is amazing, right? We're going to do some practices on it tomorrow. And what's really cool too is when you talk about the energetic side, and Christina is emotions coach for, there's this book called Essential Emotions. She shared the link for the course. Maybe you can share here again, Christina, for people that want to get a little bit deeper into this emotional side of things. And lavender is the oil of communication, and it's connected to your third eye. So it is again the pineal gland, right? It's all connected. So the spiritual communication And again, DJ, spiritual communication is what you do because you do it. You pray, right?
Yeah, right.
That's prayer. That's your higher self. That's whatever you connected out of. There's not just this body, right? And cedarwood is the tree of community. So that embodies that energy. Ylang ylang is the feminine and love and anything that balances that energy of a little bit more fluidity. Roman chamomile is also connected to your spiritual guidance, as well as vetiver. Vetiver is probably one of your
My
favorites.
favorite for kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very grounding, relaxing. It really connects immediately with your third eye. It's one of the top that I use, and kids love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we have a
really,
lot of success with
yeah.
especially moms that come and talk to us if the kids are very agitated.
Yeah.
That's one of the go-to and
Yeah.
focus.
Autistic kids for sure is the number one oil that I use, and it's immediately like grounds. When they go take a test, vetiver is number one for sure for kids.
And Carla, oh, it's really
Wow.
cool, DJ. The work
Yeah,
she
go ahead.
does, I've seen kids, little kids that because of the pandemic, they were addicted to video games and they would literally live in a virtual reality. So they
Yeah.
would come to class
Yeah.
and do the things.
Everywhere.
And my kids were in class with these kids, and the kids changed
Yeah.
like drastically because she uses no screens in the school.
Yeah. So is it the smelling ones, the ones that you rub on, or
The vetiver, so I have like a roll on that I put on the kids. Sometimes I put
Okay.
on myself.
Interesting.
So but the vetiver is so powerful. I'm just amazed how fast, because lavender sometimes with autistic kids, it's or ADHD, sometimes it does not work, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Vetiver for me, it's just the oil that I need to have all the time because it's very grounding. The roots, it's long, right? It's so powerful. It's a very powerful tree.
So is it the scent that autistic kids are smelling, and it helps to
Yes,
calm them down, to focus, what is the main thing that
to
does?
ground, so that it's for you to center yourself, right? Because some of the kids, they're so agitated, and sometimes they're hitting you, they're hitting
Mm,
themselves.
I see what you
They're
mean.
not able to sit down, and then when you put vetiver, they're like,
It helps to calm the external noise, because I know for autistic kids, and this is the way I've heard it described, and it makes a lot of sense to me, is it's almost like they perpetually have their own music going on in their own head,
yeah,
and it's how they stay in their own zone. But when they hear music from outside that seems like it's banging
too
on the
much.
walls of theirs, it actually is literally painful for them, right? It's not just, hey, I don't like this sound as much as it's painful. So what you're saying is doing that helps them to kind of recenter themselves, to feel like they're back in their own music and the outside world is less distractive.
They have more control. So vetiver is an essential oil that provides you with your inner control, right?
Interesting. Okay.
You can. That's why it helps you to sleep as well. Because anxious people, I'm not able to sleep because I hear everything. Everything
Right.
disturbs me, and I'm not able to really ground myself and just relax.
Okay.
Right. So
I like
the
that.
vetiver is so powerful because autistic kids, everything outside annoys them so much and
Yeah.
disturbs them. They need some time. Okay, how can I go back to myself, right? So, and vetiver really gives this power, right? To, okay, now it's yourself again.
Yeah, I'd love to check that out. That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Interesting.
Like, yeah,
And
vetiver is always only.
Christina's a biologist,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
well,
she can
I'm
speak
just
on it.
fascinated how lavender and vetiver technically achieve the same thing, but because of the chemistry of people, not everybody can use lavender to achieve that calm thing. So that's part of the thing with the body chemistry is even for prescription medication, not every prescription is going to work for everybody, right? It's your body chemistry.
Yeah.
So same thing with essential oils. Your body chemistry will determine what oil will work the absolute best for what you're trying to achieve. And so that's what I think is so fascinating about this, with especially in terms of lavender and vetiver. Oh, it's
Yeah,
just
chemistry,
fascinating.
we're all different, right?
Powerful.
And the cool thing about vetiver too, that always like, wow, this is so amazing. It is a very hardy grass,
Yeah.
and it is actually also used to avoid erosion. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah.
And it is from Haiti. So there's a beautiful story behind it. Everything we do is sustainable. And if it's not good for the planet, it's not good for you, period. Right. So it is sustainable. It comes from Haiti. That area, they have incredible work that's being done through co-impact sourcing efforts. That is one of the pillars of our company. And and I really wish that every company is able to do what doTERRA is doing. And it is regenerative agriculture, and beyond that, it is really connecting the the benefits on both sides of the bottle, right? The people that
Mm.
produce it and the people, us, that get to use these incredible products. And I even like I have a hard time saying products of our line of products, because it's just not products. These are incredible gateways. They're
Source.
Mhm.
like portals of hope, and they're portals of solutions. They're portals of really life changing.
You can say your line of solutions.
It's life
Yes, it's
solutions.
life
Yeah,
Why
I
solutions.
not?
love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna start calling it life solutions.
It is.
And I love it. And a little bottle of vetiver, about 15 ml, you have 250 drops, and it takes over 3 pounds of plant material, to make that happen. So it provides a lot of jobs, and we all get to benefit from it, and it's done in the right way, right? Because underdeveloped countries, I'm from Brazil, we know how the story goes, and very easily they get exploited. And that was the case with Copaiba. One day we're going to come back here to talk about Copaiba specifically, because that needs one podcast just for itself.
Yes.
And there is sandalwood that is also in the Serenity sleep system in the blend, and sandalwood is from Hawaii. So tomorrow we have a bonus podcast that Susanna and I went to KMR, which is the Kealakekua Mountain Reserve on the Big Island, and we were lucky to be part of the pilot of this 3-day retreat in the forest with the sandalwood. It was amazing. Okay, it was out of this world. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. So Christina posted here for us. She has a workshop online coming up. So if you want more info on it, everybody's welcome. So we always have educational going all the time. This podcast is educational. That is the purpose of this podcast, and also for us to set the pace for the entire week. That's why it's on a Monday. So you're welcome to come to that. And then there's also the Essential Emotions coaching certification, so you can get certified. And it is a beautiful book that's been incredibly written, the way that it's done, and it all makes sense. So every time I use this book a lot, and it makes sense. I truly believe it starts on the emotional, and then somatically it will manifest in your body, right? So we go backwards from what usually is done in the traditional world. So with that being said, we covered a lot of ground today.
Yes, it was a lot.
So
It's true.
if you want some solutions that are not shutting down your systems, I would say there are many out there, and we would be more than happy to be the person who can guide you and do it the right way, and do it with a community too, because that you can't do it alone. So tomorrow we have an event. Connect with me, Carla, or Christina. And DJ is an amazing trainer. So, DJ, talk a little bit about your work too, because it has to do with mentality as well.
Just overall, or you mean in pertaining to today's conversation?
Overall.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think what's really interesting is with today's conversation, the way my brain is putting things together is I think everyone knows at a basis level that your body postures and movements can dictate your attitudes and moods, right? We say, hey, if you're not feeling confident, walk with your shoulders back, keep your chin up, right? So there are natural ways that we do know that moving your body can change your mood and or state. That's how I equate it with yoga, if that makes sense, right? So when I think of things like yoga, it's like, yeah, there are postures that can definitely change how you feel about yourself and how you view the world, just as much as when it comes to sense, right? We always know that your sense of smell can absolutely dictate your behavior. If you've ever smelled like a smelling salt before, maybe like an EMT might have it, or people use it for lifting weights. If you're knocked out, they put them in front of your nose. Trust me, it'll wake you up. You don't have a choice. It's not like you can say, oh, I smelt it, I choose not to behave a certain way. It will change your mood. And I think that's really what I'm hearing now from this conversation. Like I said, this is just how my brain makes connections into something that makes sense for me is, yes, smells definitely do interact with us to change how we feel. And I think that what Dr. Carla was saying about, dealing with um, like jet lag and also traveling around the world is, you know, human beings were never made to travel such a far distance in a small amount of time. We never evolved for that. We literally have zero mechanisms for that. So if you are going to have some sort of global lifestyle or take global actions, then it's really going to require, global solutions, right? So taking things like these sleep pills and taking and using this sort of sleep enhancement package is absolutely crucial because you want to be able to account for the fact that your body does not have natural mechanisms. There's a lot of things our bodies can do, but it really does not do well dealing with travel across different time zones in such a fast amount of time. So I think that's absolutely pivotal. So I love that you're doing that. I mean, when it comes to training too, your mentality going into it has a lot to do with whether or not you're actually going to stick with the program and recreate yourself or you're not. One thing that I do when I speak with brand new clients or prospective clients, they'll tell me what they want to do. One of my first questions is always, okay, why do you want to do it? And then they'll tell me. And then my second question is, what's going to change for you in your life if you don't do it? Sometimes people don't have an answer. I mean, I would say maybe 2/3 of my calls, I will literally tell them, okay, well, when you have a better reason, call me back. Because what I've learned over time is if you don't want to change, if there's not a reason to why you intrinsically have to be something better, you won't do it. It's the same reason why you're in the position you're in right now. Everyone wants to do something, doesn't mean they will, right? But when someone tells me, okay, well, I want to lose 40 pounds, and then they tell me, well, I want to do it because I want to be a superhero for my 2 daughters that I have, and I want to be better for them, and I want to show them that their dad's a Superman. That's a strong reason, because if you don't get in shape, you're letting them down. That works, right? And I think that's a big deal when it comes to training and mentality. You have to have either something you're running from, or you have to have somebody that you're running with, right? So that's why competition or camaraderie is the best way to get somewhere. Or you need to say, you know what? If I stay the same, things are going to get worse for me. And so you want to change, right? And so when I talk to clients, that's always the biggest thing is make sure that who you want to be is someone that needs to get away from who you are now. Because the you that's going to get up to run at 4 a.m., that new you has to be stronger than the current you who says, I think I'm going to sleep in, right? And so that's a big deal. So mentality is not something you can separate from fitness and vice versa. Someone who's strong in their mind should also be strong in the body and vice versa. And that's really what I teach my clients.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm so
perfect.
excited. I'm starting with the DJ when I come back from my trip
Yep.
in March.
Yeah, indeed. We'll
Let's
get that
do
going.
it.
I can't wait. Dr. Carla, anything to finish up?
Yeah, to finish up, just pay attention to your sleep patterns. Sleep hygiene is so important. Try to turn off all electronics, get your brain ready to shut down and release those melatonin productions. And if you have any questions, join us tomorrow too if you're here in Hawaii, or join Christine's workshop. We are here to help you guys.
Thank you, Christina. So one more time.
Join us this week if you're interested in learning more about the how to get better sleep naturally without any other negative side effects. And hit me up if you're interested in learning more about the essential emotions. Also, I do have a code for $100 off if that is something that interests you, or if you just want to know more information. I'm happy to chat about it too. So I'm always around to talk about anything.
And we're all on Instagram and we're all on Facebook. So that's easy to get in touch. Thank you so much for your time, for your love, and sharing your knowledge, your wisdom. And I'll see you again. Well, today we'll be here again, but for Brazil in Portuguese. And next week we'll be back. No, tomorrow. We have tomorrow, the KMR bonus podcast.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. So tomorrow. Join us tomorrow. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.